Thank you for joining, everyone. If you're new, this preamble is for you. We do this call every Friday because MSPs asked what was new on the platform, what we fixed, and you folks wanted to do a little R&D or rob and duplicate some of the automation ideas that your peers have. A couple reminders. This call is a very technical call. You don't have to be this technical, but we do need a place for folks who want to automate, can talk and chat and share ideas without stress, right? Also, don't forget about flow. Can someone post the flow link? Thank you, Owen. Man, Owen, you are quick.
It was right on that.
Man, I got the F out in flow and Owen got it out. We are going to sell out. It's going to be a crazy show. We have some really good MSP speakers to talk to you folks on how they're automating and what they're automating. I'm super excited to see what they say. Today, we also let folks know about our keynote. His name is Duncan Wardle he's from Disney. He ran their innovation team, and he's got a ton of cool stories on how to help you innovate internally at your MSP. So please register now before the last 2 weeks, because the last 2 weeks are going to get super stressful. Trying to get tickets, and then as we're sold out, people are going to escalate to me about how mad someone is that they didn't get a ticket, and that makes me sad. Also, if you're interacting with us in Discord, please tag us. Please respond in a thread, something to give us a heads up. Because we're monitoring hundreds of Discord channels at once, and it really helps when we get a little ding that we need to go back and read your response. But it is good if you're using Discord, because let me count on the top of my head how many MSPs have been successful who've never asked a question. Let me see, who am I calling out? Rod. How many MSPs have been successful? Rod's saying 0. Ask questions. One of the biggest indicators of whether or not someone's going to succeed in automation is when you have a really big ego on how well you can automate and that you're the best at it. Those folks don't tend to ask questions, and so they tend to fail.
I'll just add that if the number of questions asked represent how successful you'll be, I win.
And so far, it looks like you are being very successful, Rod. So it's helped you. With that, I think that's my update, Ash. Why don't you take it away?
Awesome. Thank you. And yeah, we're going to see some of the stuff that Rod's been doing a little bit later, and I'm excited to see that. Before we jump into some of those demos, we're going to do our internal updates. And so Daniel, with an A, is going to do our dev and product update for us.
Hello. I'll share my screen here. All right, so what do we got going on today? So we are currently going through some deployments. So you should see deployments in the next hopefully day or two. So I have just checked back next week, but I'm going to talk about a few things that are coming pretty soon, some as soon as the next couple of days. I can show off a little bit of functionality. So we still have the generic GraphQL request action that is under beta. We have improved workflow page and workflow results page search and filtering. We're trying to eventually get some improved for us on the workflow page and workflow results page. I'll show that in a second. We have the workflow executions dashboard widget. I'll show this one too, but this is really going to help you to figure out what workflows are really providing you value. Where are you seeing like the most workflow executions and task executions and that type of stuff? We have a new integration that's going to be on its way in the next few weeks, TD Sync Stream 1 Ion, as well as HubSpot integration improvements. The HubSpot integration improvements, some of the things that are prompting that are things like getting more scopes available. So if some of you use, I think it's e-commerce, and there might be another major one. I can't remember what it is. If it's ticketing, we might have that already. I can't remember, but some more scopes for the HubSpot integration that have been highly requested. So those are going to be coming soon as well. So with that, I'll quickly move into here and show off a couple things that we have working on. So here's the regular dashboard that you see, but if you go down to the bottom, you'll start to see some things. Maybe I should go to a better. This isn't the. I'm in my staging environment right now, by the way. But actually, So what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to see a list of all of your workflows running in this specific environment. Maybe I can find one that's a bit better here. Let's just stay with here for now. And you can see your number of executions. You can sort and filter by these. You can to see what is executing the most frequently, how many tasks are being executed by these workflows, and how much time saved. So I can go to this one and see, oh, there's no time savings on that. And then from there, once I click into it, I can go to that workflow and let's add some time savings of 10 seconds per run. And boom. Now, as that workflow runs more often, when I go back to the dashboard, it will start to see that update. It won't update right now because this is using point in time data. Another thing that we're looking to update right now. So yeah, this is probably going to be coming, I would say, sometime in the next, I would hope in the next few weeks to a month. There's a couple of things that we're ironing out on it right now. You might see here that the time savings is 3 hours compared to the time savings here is 0. Right now, that's because this widget is pulling from the Roost staff org, whereas this time savings also brings in the sub orgs. So that's part of the improvements that we're looking to make on here. But we're pretty close to getting this across the line. It's mostly just updating the query and also optimizing that query as well. Another thing that we're looking at, if I go to the workflows page here, we'll see how many workflows we have, but you can filter by attributes. So one thing that you might want to filter by is you might want to say, I want to get everything that's from a crate, let's say. So I want to include all items that are from a crate, which I don't have any in this organization right now. And I want to exclude sub workflows. So by doing that, if I'm including crates and excluding sub workflows, I can see just the primary workflow of a given crate that that you've installed. So that's part of the improved filtering. If I go into the results here too, and I look at some of the results, what I can do is I can say, I want to filter for, let's go, items that had finished between select dates. So I can say I want to filter items that finished during the week of the 14th to the 18th of April, and it will filter out all executions that did not happen in that date range. So just a few of the things that we're working on. But with that, hopefully,
can we do a real live test, Daniel?
Sure.
I want to do something crazy. Go to the second page of these results.
You're gonna make me sweat through another teal shirt today. Okay.
Yeah, let's see what happens here. Click a result, an execution. Now click back.
Wow.
You'll have to filter. You'll have to
it's
filter.
Still filtered,
yeah,
so it's persistent filtering. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Oh.
This will help you find stuff.
Yeah. So we're working on a lot of quality of life items like this. We have some bigger projects underway that Aharon will likely leak at some point. But yeah, those are just a few things that we're working on. And back to you, Ash.
Quote of the clip, Aharon. This will help you find stuff. All right. Let's go over now to JP with our marketplace update.
Hello, everyone. Share my screen. Right. So this week for our new crate, we have an org chart builder, which I'll go over here in a minute. a number of bug fixes and enhancements to go through. And we have a few new items in the pipeline for the coming weeks. But I did want to go over the org chart builder because I think it's kind of cool. Here's a workflow, which you could say, I like how it's laid out. That's cool. But the general idea is it's executed by a form. You select an organization. You have an option to include, basically what it does is it looks at your Active Directory or your M365 environment and looks at your manager hierarchy, and it will build a chart based on what you have set up. So you have an option to include users that don't have a manager set or exclude them. And it's going to send you the results via email, so you can select your user or put one in there. It's going to send you an email like this, and you can click on it, and it'll go to a webhook, and it'll give you a nice little chart. This is our test environment. There's not a whole lot of managers set up there, but to kind of facilitate, we understand that we anticipate that some people might not have all of their managers set in their M365 environment. So we created a little form to help facilitate building that out. So you didn't have to click into each individual user and set that stuff up. So if you have kind of like you have your own chart or something like that, or some idea of how an organization is structured, you can select a manager, select the users that are associated with that manager, and you can use this form to set them. And you can, if you have 50 reports to a single person, it'll set them for you, and then you can regenerate your chart. So I thought that was a neat little thing. It was we actually found that one that came from a Canny request. So we went and we built it. So if you have any, I have about 500 testy McTesters and contacts to manage. There you go. Yeah, we do too. Yep. I hope you guys install it, test it out. Let us know what you think. If you think it's useful, let us know. I think that's all for the marketplace this week.
Thank you, JP. Awesome. All right. So now we are going to go over to our education update. Clea, I think I called you out here on this one, right? Is that you this week?
Yeah, I am here. I'll paste a link in the chat so folks can follow along that way and get ready to share my screen. As always, we want to start with shout outs. So shout out to Corey, Levash, Adamek, Thomas, Andrew, G-Flex, Brent, Astor, and Cormac for passing the Roost Foundation certification, and our very own Sam and Sonia from Roost staff. If you haven't seen your name mentioned on this list, what are you waiting for? Go take the exam, collect your prestigious badge in Discord and your certificate, and get access to our super secret Discord channel. Shout out to customer Ryan for passing the clean automation certification, and our very own Jay from Roost. As before, take the clean automation exam in the new Cluck University and get that cert. Reach out to us in Cluck U Discord with any questions, comments, anything at all. And for continuing your learning, we do have office hours as always. In terms of updates to Cluck University, we now have an updated homepage giving you a little bit of a sequence, recommending courses in order to get started and set up with Roost, links to get certified, etc., and options to keep learning with clean automation and our micro courses. Our course Jinja in Action has also gotten a slight makeover. So if you registered for this before and all of a sudden see, ooh, you're not done yet, that is because we added certain knowledge check quizzes to it. So you can go ahead and test your Jinja knowledge. I'll be doing that, and I'm sure failing miserably, but the good news is we don't chastise anyone for failing. We'll just help you learn and get all the answers. So reach out if you need anything Roost learning-wise, and thanks to everyone for your time.
Thank you so much, Clea. All right, now we are on to our demos. And so a little while ago, we had Joe.
Winged it.
A little while ago, we had Joe and Jim Barry talk about something that they've been working on. And so they're actually going to come back up now and kind of give us a little bit of an update and see how that's been progressing.
Hi, everyone. So Joe and I, Joe from Raven, and I have been working on this collaboration for a Microsoft Bookings pod in ConnectWise. And the V1 was great, but it was V1. And we knew that there was going to be more to do and more to find out. And we found out a lot of things. And one of the reasons I really wanted to bring this up is because collaboration is a thing in automation. I think that Joe alone could have done it, and I think I alone could have done it, but I think it's definitely better because we worked on it together, a couple of different heads going at the same problem from sort of different perspectives. And I had some input from some of the people on my team also. But in reality, this is one of those things that happens sometimes with automations. Is sometimes you can automate it to a point and you can only get certain satisfaction. You can't always work out a problem when there's not an API or there's not an available piece of data or there's no human intervention at that point that's possible. So we had lemons and we made lemonade. There were no webhooks, so we relied on an email notification is the moral of the story. So the initial workflow, I'm going to show this here in a second, and Joe, feel free to jump in and take over whenever, especially if I start not talking well. By the way, I have COVID, everyone, in case I do go off, don't worry. It's expected. You pick who you want to attend a meeting, and you pick the length of the meeting, and you send a booking request. This is probably not very different than what we showed off to begin with. But I'm going to just jump over here really quick and accept and find that. Did I leave my contact on? There it is. Okay, so I'm going to schedule a support session. You guys are still seeing my screen, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to choose the 13th at 10:15. So this part's pretty standard bookings, nothing's magical there. But what was happening was customers changed their mind. They need to reschedule and cancel, and picking those things back up in the ticket weren't so easy. I'm going to refresh my PSA ticket here, and as you can see right now, there's not yet a scheduled time entry. Reserving that time. I maybe refreshed a little too soon. Joe, are the demo gods fighting us? Do you know?
Let me go look.
Yeah. So while Joe goes to look, while that's going on, what we did was we are now looking at those email notifications, and we're adding these appointments not just to the person's PSA pod where it shows they're booked on that time, but we're getting the actual meeting invite to that user's calendar, and we're also notifying them of the appointment in a Teams message that we surface. Just so I don't open my Teams up to everyone, this is what those Teams messages look like just through our bot. But really what ended up happening was the reschedule and cancellations were not getting through to the ticket in a good way. And there's no webhooks. And that's really the bottom line is we've tried every which way and there are no webhooks. But this was also sending back a lot of email notifications for all of the updates that went on with the booking request. And what we did was we catch that email request and we move it to a specific folder using an Outlook rule that looks nothing fancy, you know, just an Outlook rule that says if it comes from the bookings meeting link email address, move it to the Microsoft bookings folder. And when it moves an appointment to the bookings folder, it just basically it sends it in, and the subject line tells you if it's a new or updated or canceled booking. So this is no different than a webbook. It's just not a webbook. We're using it as one, and we're picking those up and populating them back into the ticket. Any news, Joe?
No change notification from Microsoft.
Okay, so it's a platform problem. So we are getting the email message for the new thing, but we're missing the notification that the service has been booked. Yeah, so this is sort of the potential problems with some of these automations when you're relying on a third-party API. I can't tell you if we've tested this 20 times or 50 times, but I know that earlier today I emptied this folder. There were many things in there from all the testing we've done since this last round of changes. Joe, do you have anything else to add about using the email as a webhook or anything?
Well, now that I'm learning it's not as reliable as I had originally understood.
The booking subscription one, right? The one where you're actually subscribing to the messages for the Meet with Relentless webhook. Okay. So, but this part is pretty reliable. The stuff that's hitting the bookings folder.
Yep.
So the email notifications are a good enough substitute for the webhook. And when this does come in, if it is an update, he's reading the body of the message and picking up the new date and time, and ultimately updating the PSA pod with the right dates and times. So if the customer reschedules and it fits into the calendar, they pick from the calendar and bookings, just like whatever bookings allows, we just come back and book. Now, the one sort of ugly gotcha is that there is a parameter in bookings called, what is it called, Joe, in the service? Allow any or allow all?
Any or, yeah.
Yeah, that there is no current API endpoint to say any or all. So we're assuming that everyone is available at the same time. And we've escalated that case to Microsoft so that even though it's in their payload, they just don't respect us setting it during the Open API call, or the API call, not Open API. And that's pretty much it. I don't really have much else. Sadly, the demo gods were not with us. They were earlier, but collaboration is the key, and make a webhook out of anything. A file appearing in a folder, a message appearing in somebody's mailbox. If you can't get a webhook, make your own.
That's awesome. Does anybody have any questions for Jim Barry or Joe?
Just want to say that's pretty darn cool.
Thank you.
So next up, we are going to have Linda. Linda, you've just wrapped up something that's also pretty collaborative, right?
I have. So I worked on something for my team. They wanted to find a way to have somebody either in accounting or operations, account management mark a customer that is, you know, kind of on the brink of being at risk. You know, maybe we need to take extra care with that customer. And so how we decided to do it, because we wanted to make this something that was super simple for them to just market in a single place. So let's take our favorite XYZ company. So they have, ConnectWise has built-in notifications on tickets, but these pop-up notifications are, here's something super important that every tech needs to read. And what do? But they say, don't show this again, close it. And then when they go into this ticket or any other ticket for that client, there is no pop-up. And therefore they are not reading it. And we've had so many over the years that the techs are just in the habit of clicking the box and closing it, and then they have to like reset their cache for ConnectWise Manage in order to even see them again. So what we did was we built a status or ticket for our clients, just that we would mark them as at risk. And so then we have a workflow that runs on a cron job inside of Roost that will go and collect a list of any companies that are in that status. And it goes down two different paths. One is to then grab a list of contacts for those companies that are not inactive. And from there, just grab the contact's ID. And now, as I was testing this out, something that I had found was if the contact is already tagged with, or actually, I guess I should show you guys what I did, right? So I have a contact here. Let's just tag this contact with the type, client at risk. All right, so now his tickets, instead of having the pop-up that nobody reads, clicks through, and it never comes up again, we have now this nice bright orange banner at the top every time you go into a ticket for that contact. Problem is, it's only tied to that one contact. So here's our information, you know, handle this customer with care. And so what we are doing here is we're grabbing a list of contacts and we're pulling out the ones that are already tagged as client at risk for that contact, because it will throw an error if I try to add that contact type onto a contact that already has it. So the funnest, this is a really simple workflow. The best part, or the funnest part, was trying to figure out the lovely endpoint path. I couldn't figure it out in the ConnectWise documentation, so I fed the ConnectWise documentation into ChatGPT, and they gave me back this, which was not easily viewable inside of the developer network. And essentially, I am feeding in the contacts that already don't have it and saying, hey, here's that contact's item ID. Add this particular item ID, which is client at risk. And I just got that 13 number from just doing a get contact and finding that type. So that's this path. And then on this side, we have removing tags from clients that, you know, maybe this customer, they say, okay, this XYZ company is no longer at risk of leaving us. We're in a good state. So we don't obviously want to leave those, that tag on those contacts. And so this will go down the path of grabbing all contacts that are currently tagged at risk, only taking the companies up here or the company IDs that are still inside of that list and valid. And from there, we're going to do a couple API generic requests. One is to get the type associations for those contacts. And then with that, we're just pulling out where that type ID is 13. So they may have other tags on their contact record, like, oh, they're an end user, they're something else. And so we're just looking for the records where it is contact at risk. And for those contacts that are no longer have their company at risk, we will then use another API that is taking the contact ID, type association, and that item ID, which is the type association ID from the previous step, and it is removing them. And so if we look at this client, which I tagged as client at risk, inside of here when we first started, and then we look at our contacts, there's only that one guy that I manually changed. And if we run the workflow, let's see if I have better luck with the demo gods today. We shall see here in a second. And now all of them are tagged as at risk. So any ticket for any one of those contacts, when you open up the ticket, we no longer have to worry about them clicking the pop-up and ignoring and not reading it. There is this lovely banner at the top that will tell you, hey, pay attention to something important. So, and that is all I've got. Nice, easy one that solved a problem for us that we didn't want to have to manually tag all those contacts. Especially, this is a nice, easy client, just a couple fake contacts. But when you're talking about 100, 200, 300 clients, nobody wants to do that manually.
It's really awesome, Linda. I love the way that you found something that's just kind of like one of those internal admin issues and quickly used Roost to address that for the foreseeable future. So that's great. Love to see that. Any questions that anybody has for Linda? Have you considered a workflow that addresses when they are no longer at risk?
This one does that too. So I'll share back out the screen. There you go. So this side is what will grab all the companies that are at risk and tag all of their clients that way. And then this side of the workflow will take all of the contacts that are tagged as at risk and verify that their company is still at risk. And if not, it's going to remove that contact type.
Preventing carpal tunnel 10 clicks at a time.
That's right.
Good one. Valerie asks, how often do you run the cron job?
I believe we just run it like once or twice a day. Yeah, I've got it running like twice a day. Hopefully we don't have we're not that volatile that changes very often. So
Owen asked a really sneaky human psychology question here. Have we considered a workflow sorry, that jumped me. It wasn't Owen, it was Brian. Brian asked, how do you get text to not ignore the orange banner also?
Well, I'm hoping that they, read the orange banner, just like if they're driving and they see a traffic cone. So if they are accident prone in real life in their car, then maybe we shouldn't hire them. I'm not sure. Well, I'll think about that one.
Yeah, that's something. Building your systems to motivate the right things that you're trying, right? Awesome. Okay, so now we're going to jump over to Rod. And Rod, you have actually also built something that's like pretty collaborative in nature, because it's allowing you to see a lot of these things in kind of outside of Roost, right? Can you tell us a little bit about what you've done?
Yeah. Well, some people know, because I've demonstrated before, how the stuff that we started with originally was I wanted to get a lot of reporting done. So a lot of it was grabbing information from different sources. I've exported it, putting all the information into a SQL database and using Power BI to create all reports to see this. This has been extremely useful. Like we set up a compliance report for our service desk so that they know, like, computers that are not compliant for whatever reason. It helps to find them, because part of the compliance has to do with AD, has to do with Halo, has to do with Threat Locker, has to do with End Central, has to do with Malwarebytes, all this stuff. And the problem is that to try to get to know if something's compliant, first thing you need to know is that, are all devices in every product that you're looking at. So part of the thing was trying to determine, hey, where are these missing? You know what? This computer's here, it's here, but it's not here. Well, that's not going to give you an accurate compliance. If it's in certain places and it's not in N-Central, where N-Central grabs most of our compliance data, then it's like it gets missed out of our compliance report. So we did a lot of this stuff, and the service test, the stuff we set up was great. Service Desk was able to go through and fix a lot of things. Started adding a bunch of other reports. Again, a lot of the stuff is you go into the reports, you find stuff that, oh, here's wrong. This is stuff that needs to be fixed. Okay, now what do we do to fix it? Okay, now let's go over to now let's go log into Roost and go to the forms to fix these issues. It works, but a lot more work. My ideal thing was, can we somehow mix these together? And this is where this has come. I'm going to be showing really more of a high-level overview of all this stuff, because if I was to get into all the nitty-gritty, I'd probably be here for an hour or two. So it's let me share my screen. So this has been a very evolving process of doing it. So one of the first things they said we had people, they'd have to go to Roost, or they'd go into Active Directory or whatever. First thing was creating a portal for ourselves that combined, you get access to all the workflows and all the reports in the same place. I choose to use Power Pages for this, though I probably could do most of this in App Builder, but just some of the things with App Builder, I will probably move it there eventually, but I'll probably wait till it's a bit more refined, because some of the things I had issues doing, and for me, it was just easier to do it in Power Pages. So it would start off like we would have our reports. We go in Active Directory Groups Report. I'll show you loads. I'll sign it in. Sorry, two-factor authentication. And then 73. So we get our reports in here. Oh, I thought I updated this. That shouldn't be there, but that's fine. This goes in. We can go through the reports. You can see the users and what groups they're part of, and we can see the groups and what everything here. Part of the reason for this one is we're trying to make sure, hey, we want to find groups that are missing company, that are missing owner, that don't have the proper descriptions with them. And this was the one where this started, because it was okay. Now we want to fix this. Well, this is a real pain. Like, are we going to go into Active Directory and start finding each group and doing it? So where this evolved to is my new pages that I've been created. Ooh, I changed. Oh, there comes the report. So now I've got my same report here, but I have two forms here on the side. One thing that's nice, I'd be able to, through iframes and tabs, I'm able to have two different workflows show up on the same page for me that I can switch between, both of them related to groups. In which case I want to add or remove users to a group. So first I can go through the list of users, and I can say I want to select AD manager, and I want to select this guy. And this refreshes, and you can see I didn't select any groups, so at this point, but it adds it's only one user. This only allows one user. So let me pick one user and pick multiple groups. Oop, I got a bit of a glitch here. It's refreshing too much. I had two groups. Just let me refresh this. Actually, I'm not sure why both of these are not. Oh, it's only let me select one. I don't know what's going on here, but regardless, I have this so that it auto-populates based on what you select in the report, then adds to the form. You select what you want to do. If you want to add the person to the group, it's going to create a ticket in Halo automatically for this under mission. But if you're doing this in response to another ticket, you can choose to create it as a child ticket to an existing ticket that is in Halo. When you perform the action, when it's done, it will post the results down here in this box. And after about 4 to 5 minutes, if you refresh this, the information will actually be updated in the report itself. So been able to do that for groups. We've done AD computers, which right now we have for computer accounts, being able to enable and disable based on it. So again, I want to select multiple computers. Basically, it's supposed to wait about 2 seconds after the last selection that you make. We'll then refresh this, again, select what you want to do. These computers would already be enabled, so I'm going to pick enable on here. If you're enabling it, because of all disabled computers will be in a disabled OU, here we want to say where we want to move it to afterwards. I'll go and submit it. We will wait, the workflow will run, and things will get updated. After a few minutes, we also have user base syncs. Now, just my luck. I do this and I'm getting it failed on here. I don't know why. I'll have to go check that out. For the most part, as I said,
I don't know. That's what you wanted to
do. Now, just to go based on this, the trick to getting all this stuff working is, first of all, is that Power BI doesn't allow you to get data from visuals and stuff normally. A regular iframe of the report will not work. So I have to enable embedding of actual Power BI embedding and use and actually embed the report here. Once that is put in place, what I have is, I'll bring the screen over that shows this example for this report. You go and see I have a hidden visual here, which this hidden visual shows what you have selected. It is this visual that the web page is configured to. After selection, it goes and grabs the data from that from this visual. It sends it to a webhook, and we have that webhook listening in Roost. And then the webhook goes and takes that data and stores it in a template. Then in order to get it to refresh into the form, I just have the web page again. 2 seconds after selections have been made, it will refresh the iframe. Refreshing the iframe, then the options generator is looking at this template that has been created, grabs those values from there, and populates them into the form. So when we go, and the embedding of the reports, what I've actually done is I'm actually embedding them from the app as opposed to embedding the forms themselves, because the app has a few more options with the forms, like removing the title from the name of the form allows me to remove it from there. It has a bit more options for me to be able to control the size of this when I am embedding it here. It's also this results pane is just an HTML container in the app as well, which that is getting inserted here through an iframe. So it's the same results for all of the forms. It's just whenever a form gets updated. So I said it's the last result. It may be from wherever somebody ran it. It's just you're seeing the last result of any of the actions that have been performed on here. Move this out of the way. So I go into my templates. You'll see a BI. So there's a BI users, BI groups, BI computers. This is just, these are the templates that get populated from it. The workflows that run gets, the forms. I should show the actually reset my password, which is the best one to show here. Well, computer enabled disable. It's you've got the an option generators for this that use those templates in order to get the options to go into that go into the form. We also have it set that of course, each one of these that run will send a ticket to Halo saying that it's done. It will send an email to the person that generated it, and we'll also update on the screen itself. So basically, I've been able to make more of an interactive application on this, which really speeds and allows for batch updating to be a lot faster. Now, that's the overview of it. If anybody wants any questions on how I did specific things, I can get into that. But as I said, if I tried to go into everything, this would take me a lot longer to go through.
And we're done now for demos. So if anybody has any questions or wants to dive into anything at all, now's the chance to bring it up.
Somebody's got to have a question.
Just going to say, if not, Aaron's going to come in here with one in a moment.
I literally had a question ready to go, and I figured it out as she said, does anybody have a question?
I can just say I have one question. I'm curious from a development perspective, as anytime on the horizon of the ability to customize forms a little bit, because one of the challenge was here is that the forms that we get and that we can embed, can't change the layout of it, can't really change the color of things, controlling the size of stuff. So I'm really hoping that form customization is something that is coming into Roost in the somewhat future that allows us to create a bit nicer forms that will go with other things.
We want the same thing.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that this week. We have some like pretty focused priorities right now on like building workflows and that fun stuff. And it's been a while since we've given forms a lot of love. We've made like smaller changes to it, some quality of life issues, and we're starting to think that like, okay, using app builders, adding another layer of complexity to what should be a relatively simple process or relatively simple experience of using forms. So we met this week as a big team, and we kind of hear that loud and clear. There's a lot of feedback that we've got lately about building forms, so we have to kind of review that feedback and I guess see how we're going to tackle that. But we hear that loud and clear. We want to make improvements to forms in the near
Because
future. Yeah.
from this perspective, it was like I have this report that I was made up, which is a nice blue and white and gray or whatever, but it doesn't, when I combine it with forms, it doesn't actually work that great. So now I have to customize my reports a bit better to blend in with the forms because I can't do as much with the forms.
Yeah, definitely. We've heard that a lot. So like with App Builder, you can do like custom domains and you can do custom styling and that type of stuff, but not to the extent that I think people want to with forms. And so yeah, we've definitely heard that sort of feedback before, and I think we have a lot of canny votes for it too. So yeah.
A few questions have come in now. Reed asked, can this be run by more than one person? Would the templates limit concurrent users or uses?
Not really, because the workflow is not running from the template. It's just the filling in the form itself. So once I've done this and it's filled in the values, if somebody else is doing something at the same time, my values aren't going to change. So if they did change, you'd see it and you'd have to make sure, okay, I got to do this again. So yeah. Is there the potential for some conflict? Yeah, but it would have to be like really, really fast sort of thing. It's like if you had like lots of people doing this at the same time, I would imagine there is the potential there. But the fact that it's just used to fill the form itself, there shouldn't be an issue.
There's another question here. Ish asked, how much did the Power App portal licensing cost? Is it going to be an add-on for the Power BI Pro license?
I know. Well, in this case, to do this, we need a Power BI premium per user to do it. To be able to do embedding, you can't do embedding with Pro. The one fortunate thing with the other thing to realize is that this is only going to be available to people that have. Anyone that wants to see and do this will have to have a Power BI premium at least premium or premium per user license for it. We got lucky as we did that because Microsoft partnerships. I think we get 25. You get 25 licenses included with it, so we're utilizing that there. That's needed basically to make this interactive to do embedding. As I said, I could still do this with just a simple iframe of the report with something that was Power BI Pro, but when doing that, I would not be able to have the interaction on this. But the one thing that is somewhat nice on this, which I haven't got into, is because this does give the ability to grab what data is in a visual, this opens things up for not just interactive stuff here as anything where I want to grab information from a visual and use it in a Roost form. I can do that. I can, this doesn't need to be a page that anyone even accesses. I have a different page here. I have a Power BI that I've embedded in here that has visuals with set information the way I set up, and that gives me almost like a database of information that I could then get Roost to go and grab the data from each of those visuals as needed. I haven't got to that yet, but it's now that I figured this out. As with anything, it's always things roll over. Once you do one thing, you start getting ideas of how you can use it for other things.
Owen asked, we're just wrapping up here now, but just good timing. How long did this take you to make roughly?
Well, the whole thing has been so ongoing, but getting this stuff for the actual interaction between it, because I did have reports and I did have workflows done, really just to start getting this going and having it operational. I had the groups one done first, and I think I just did that in a day or two. The biggest challenge was a lot of the stuff not knowing, can show you, this here is an example of the HTML to do this. So it needs JavaScript stuff in order to do to get the data from Power BI. Setting up, it has to set up the report container. then the tabs container with which form you're embedding in each. It's got the switching tabs. It's got stuff set in here to automatically refresh things so that the things load. Like the results come up is that results iframe just refreshes every 30 seconds, and that's how I'm getting the data dynamically. Again, for all this stuff, there's the other thing is with Power BI is it uses tokens. So one of the things was getting tokens only last an hour, and getting the web page so that it will automatically refresh the tokens. That was a bit of a challenge, but hey, as I said, my best friend is Power BI, and not Power BI, is ChatGPT, and I don't ignore that. Like, as far as I'm concerned, if you're not using ChatGPT to help you with automation stuff, you're really missing out, because it's helped me to do so much of the stuff. Because these all work on PowerShell scripts. Like a lot of the stuff for the PowerShell, I'm doing a lot of caching of stuff rather than having my options generator going out, running a script to get all their options and causing things to run slowly. I got things like grabbing Active Directory users, Active Directory computers, and all that. That runs every hour, puts it into a template. Now my option generator's running a lot more quickly. But then I also have, once you've run many of these workflows, I have it at the end of the workflow going and running to recache the information, so that we're constantly getting the updated information. Like after you make a change, it's like the worst thing you want to do is you make a change with a group, then you go to do something. Well, if you're using cached information, it's got the wrong distinguished name, something fails or whatever, it doesn't have the right value. So this way I have the data within 5 minutes will actually be fresh. But yeah, like you can see from this, there's quite a bit that had to be put in here. Like this is the webhook where it's webhook set up to send the information to on all the visuals. There's a fair bit to it.
We're
It's
done.
that time. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's that time. Thank you, Ash, for setting this up. Thank you for everyone that demoed. You're demoing in front of a lot of people, so thank you for the time spent doing that. Hey, we'll see you again next week. Have a good weekend, everyone. See ya.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Rod, Linda, you, Joe, Jim Barry. Bye, guys.